Today we're in New York to visit the offices of KPMG, the global professional services company. We're talking about the future of finance, how the finance function needs to deal with disruption, to embrace extreme automation and to redefine roles, plus the value that they add to an organisation. I'm Sarah Lockett. Welcome to the Business Debate. We'll be talking to two professionals today from KPMG. First up is Don Maillard, who is the service line leader for corporate services. Thanks for joining us on the Business Debate.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
So how is technology changing what finance does and needs to do?
Well, I think the new technologies allows finance to do a couple things. One, their core business, the compulsory reporting, standard reporting, regulatory reporting, I think all that can now be highly automated, which then frees up people to be available for more analytical work. And the technology can allow you to sift through more data and more data sources. So then I think it can start becoming a business partner to the business, letting them know this service line is doing great, this one not so much, we need to invest more here, that type of thing.
That sounds just like operational information.
It can take the operational data, plus it can start pulling in social media data, outside data, and start synthesizing it. And you start to see trends, you start to see things that you might not have seen before because it was so hard to get access to the data. And then there was so much, it was hard to sift through it. But now you get help with the sifting and with the analytics to help you become a better business partner.
You talk about extreme automation. What does that mean?
To me, extreme automation is just the automation is happening so rapidly and congruently. So cloud platform changes in its own right would have been a major transformational breakthrough. But you take that coupled with robotic process automation, artificial intelligence, chatbots, and they all are converging at the same time. So it's a rather extreme time is how we're referring to it from a technology perspective.
And what are the main barriers to people adopting all these new technologies and tools, and how do you advise them?
Well, I think there's a couple things. One is really understanding how they all play together. So one is just fear. I don't know exactly what this technology does or how I can use it. How is it going to integrate with my current systems, those type of things. And it is a rather big price tag to do it. But I think if you start looking at the business cases and the advantages of doing the technology, in terms of not only cost savings, but the ability to grow because you have better analysis, I think that makes the investment well worthwhile.
And how do you advise CFOs to navigate all this new technology?
Well, I think the biggest part is we try to take the technology and show them how it applies to the business. So cloud, what does that mean? It's up in the air. Now, what it means is standard processes, reduced risk, standard reporting, all fairly automated, which has been a big problem for finance organizations. You look at intelligent automation that allows robots to help do some very manual clerical things through robotic process automation. And then the artificial intelligence helps move us from detective, what happened, why did it happen, to what could happen. So I think it's much more of a forward-looking, growth-oriented opportunity for CFOs.
And how can CFOs use all these advances in technology to really become a more strategic partner in an organization?
Well, as I alluded to earlier, I think just the ability to sift through the data, to change their workforce from more standard reporting, compulsory reporting to analysts, really help them to look at how the different parts of the business are functioning so they can embed their finance people who understand the business, sift through the data and say, here's where I think we should invest, here's where we maybe should divest, and I think they can really become a person at the table with the business units.
Don, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm joined now by John Mulhall, who is the Financial Management Service Network Lead for KPMG. Welcome.
Happy to be here, thank you.
So, extreme automation is going to dramatically change the finance function over the next decade. What will a successful delivery model look like?
A successful delivery model will make the transaction processing function smaller and simpler. And it will change the nature of the business partner support. So the business partner support will need to be more sophisticated and more future oriented, and the transaction processing piece will need to be more focused on the architecture of the end-to-end process.
And what new skills do we need in finance going forward, and how do we develop that talent?
We'll need advanced analytical skills and fundamental business skills, and less core accounting and transaction processing skills. Of course, the fiduciary responsibility of finance will always remain the same around risk, controls, financial reporting, servicing investors. However, with the advent of automating a lot of that and then bringing in external data, we'll have a lot more information to serve our business partners in helping them make decisions.
Now, how will the skills of chief financial officers need to change over the next decade? Say, will they come from less of an accountancy background, for instance?
I do think that the CFO will always need some sort of an accounting background, because that person is the ultimate arbiter of the risk controls, financial statements. However, I think it will become much more important to become a strategist and an analyst. So understanding and helping to develop the strategy, and then taking the non-financial data and putting together the right metrics that will help predict the direction of the business, so that they can bring that together for financial results.
And CFOs have a long to-do list when it comes to disruption. Where should they start? What are the priorities?
One should start with the business. Always start with the business and the requirements of the business, and then understand all of the new technologies that are emerging and how they come together and how they're architected to serve the needs of the business. And thirdly, understanding the skill sets and how one will develop, recruit, and retain those skill sets.
A big job, a difficult job?
A big job, a changing job, and a difficult job.
Well, John and Don, before you, thanks very much for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.